All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this adventure information presentation on this upcoming amazing trip to India. I have been living in India for a better half of the year, sometimes more than half of the year, sometimes less, for 12 years now, and taking people on spiritual pilgrimages for 11 of those 12 years. Well, minus COVID. So I've had experience. I've been traveling around India, Nepal, and Tibet for all of these years, and really I've immersed myself in the culture. Obviously, there's a reason. And now I'm studying Ayurveda in Mumbai. And so I go there for school, and I go there for work and travel and practice my own sadhana. So I wanted to host a presentation, question and answer, so that anybody who sees this tonight or in the future, they get a better understanding of what the trip is. And I run this trip. The Maha Kumbh Mela only happens every 12 years in 4 different places. It's a big story, mythology. I'll go into a little bit of that. But this is the very big Maha Kumbh, the great Maha Kumbh. Maha means great, and Kumbh from the Kumbh Mela means pot or vase, and Mela means festival. So it's the great Maha Kumbh Mela. So I was there 12 years ago, in 2013. There's somebody on here now, Joe, Cactus Joe. He was there. I met him there 12 years ago. It was just an incredible, magical experience for me. And meeting him and everybody that we lived with at it was a B&B. Then it would be an Airbnb now. Was just incredible. And then I moved over to the main Kumbh Mela place and stayed there until we moved back to the B&B. So I'm going to start with just sharing a little bit about the Maha Kumbh Mela. And then I'll get into the other places that we'll visit. Well, I'm going to start there. So the trip will start in Delhi. Everybody will meet in Delhi because it's the meeting point. It's the best place to come from most anywhere in the world. Best prices on flights, everything. And so we'll all gather there on the 1st. I would suggest, if you can, coming in a day or two, or as many days early as you can, just to get over your jet lag. If you can't, it's fine, no problem. But really better to come in the day before, because we start right away. And the reason that we do that is because in India, 14, 15 days is just not that much time. And so it takes time to move from place to place. And I don't know how everybody's going to do. So we need some space there to make changes. India is not the same as like the US or Europe. It's not so fixed. You have to be able to be flexible. In Ayurveda, we don't think about age as far as health goes. We think about flexibility in your body, your mind, and your spirit. So it's the same thing for visiting India. It's like you really want to be flexible. And pilgrimage is a time of really consciously going into being intentional with your mind, your body, and your spirit. So if you decide to come on the trip, we'll meet beforehand. I'll meet with you one-on-one, and then we'll put the group together, and then we'll start to talk about it, because it's good to prepare yourself before you go in all 3 aspects, especially with your diet and your lifestyle shifts before you get there. You know, obviously what to bring, all of those things. The weather, it's the winter where we're going, and so it's warm during the day, and it does get cold at night, but it's not that bad. There's no snow on the ground or anything like that. And there's always fires going everywhere. So there's always, warmth. And the food is all vegetarian and very delicious. So we meet in Delhi. And the reason that I want to do a pilgrimage first is because whoever is coming on this trip, a lot of people have never been to India before. So I wouldn't recommend just straight away going to the Kumbh Mela without ever having been to India before. So we're going to do what I actually did before I went to the Mahakumbh in 2013. And we're going to start in Bodh Gaya in the Buddhist energy. And the Buddhist energy is very calming. So you've had this long trip to India from wherever you're from. And now we're going to start in Bodh Gaya. And that's where Siddhartha Gautama attained his enlightenment. And we're going to visit very sacred places in this area, including where he was sitting when he had that realization, but also some places that were very powerful leading up to that realization. And he really mirrors each one of us because we are all Buddhas. It's just there's veils over it. So that'll come back around when I start talking about the Kumbh Mela. But maybe we have veils over our eyes, layers of them, like what is true that I'm not seeing right now, right? That's an inward question that I ask myself. And so yeah, I'm gonna just so we start in Bodh Gaya, where it's very introspective. We have a night in a meeting, like a gathering in Delhi. We have a welcome dinner together. Then we will take transportation, probably flying, to Bodh Gaya. And then it's more mellow. The Buddhists are quite mellow, okay? They're not as wild and loud. So that's where we'll start with the introspective aspect. And I'll lead you. I let however it wants to go, whoever's coming, kind of guide what we do and how we do it. The kind of yoga that we do in the morning, the meditation. Some people will want their own space. Some people will want to be led. And then we have a couple of days in Bodh Gaya. And then from Bodh Gaya, we go to Varanasi, which is the oldest inhabited city in the whole world. And it's an ancient city, and it's beautiful, and it's right on the Ganges River. We'll take a train or a bus, depending. The train is lovely. I prefer it because you don't have to go on the roads. To Varanasi. And Varanasi is just a very special place in its own right. It's a very old, ancient, sacred city, big Shiva energy there. So we'll see all the main sites, the pilgrimage sites of, not all of them, but a lot of them. There's a lot of pilgrimage sites in Varanasi. We'll see the main pilgrimage sites in Varanasi and then have some free time. We will also in Bodh Gaya for yourself to wander. And because there's some really cool things to do. There's like maybe some cafes you want to check out or some shopping, and there'll always be somebody there to assist you. You won't just be a solo on your own. And then from Varanasi, we'll be there for a couple of days. Then we'll make our way to Prayagraj, which is where the Mahakumbh Mela happens. Okay? And so then we're entering into a place, its own city during this event. It's the largest gathering of pilgrims at one time anywhere in the whole world. And so it's very, very sacred and very special. And there's some mythology around it. It's like the good guys and the bad guys were fighting over the Amrita, the deathless nectar. And during the fight, out of the kumbh, the pot, the deathless nectar fell in 4 parts in India. And Prayagraj, Nasik, Ujjain, and Haridwar are the 4 places. And what's so special about Prayagraj, formerly known as Allahabad, is it's where the 3 rivers of the Yamuna, the Ganges, and the Saraswati rivers all meet. You can see the Yamuna and the Ganges, but you cannot see the Saraswati River. So it's either mythical, or it's dried up, or it's underground. It is what it is. But this is how I perceive it. There's these opposing forces of water coming towards each other. And when that happens, it creates a vortex. And our bodies are over 70% water. So whenever we come in contact with waters meeting, it creates a very, very potent and powerful energy. So it's believed that when you take a sacred bath in this water during these very specific times, according to astrology, that you will reach your mukti in this lifetime or at the time of death. And that's very powerful. So you're going to get 1 million people with this belief system, and it creates its own power. Now, I've been spending 12 years in India, and what I can say is it's the most organized I've ever seen India. It's like if you've been to India and then you go to the Kumbh Mela, it's kind of shocking how organized it is. So it's 2 rivers, so they build these bridges, these temporary bridges over all the rivers. And we will be staying at a very traditional camp. So there's camps, right, at the event, all these camps. And the camp that we're staying at is being run by Shri Digambar Kushal Bharti Maharaj. He is a Naga sadhu that I have known since 2016, and I've lived with him, traveled with him. I've known him for years, many, many years. And now 3 melas, 2 Kumbh Melas and the Ambubachi Mela, and maybe others. I don't know. I've traveled with him a lot. I've lived with him. I stay at his ashram. My name in India is Jwala Bharti. So I'm perceived in that place as somebody who is part of the family, so to speak. I kind of joke and I say I'm part of the family, because it is a family. So the Mela is when all of the holy men and women, the saints, the sadhus, the practitioners, the people, the devotees, everybody comes because this is such a sacred time. And people in India, Hindus specifically, want to do this at least once in their lifetime. So they will spend all their money to just get there for a few days. In my perception, I'm going to be there almost the entire time, because for me, it's about practice. It's about my sadhana. It's about doing my meditations, and it's about my internal work. So when we're there, we're going to be staying with other devotees. We're not doing it like the tourist style where there's like 5-star tents, because that's not the kind of trips that I run. I will help you, and I will make accommodations for you if you need them within the traditional way. So, for instance, last time at the Ard Kumbh, the half Kumbh, same place, I had people with me, and I had somebody there in their mid 70s, and she was fine. They put down hay, not the kind the horses eat, but the hay without the food in it, so it's warm. In India, things are more natural, so they put down this hay, so it's cushiony. So we were all sleeping on the hay, and I had everybody bring a down sleeping bag. Now, I will arrange for mattresses this time for whoever wants to come. These cotton mattresses. I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. You don't need to know the details. But that's what we sleep on in India everywhere, not just at the Kumbh Mela. It's like these cotton sleeping mats. Now, if you want your own, you want to bring your own, it's fine too. Now, if you need to be up off the ground for whatever reason, your back, your knees, I can also arrange for something like a cot or something. In India, there's nothing as a problem. That is a warning to you all. They will tell you yes because that's the only word they know. So that's just a little of the logistics. So I wanted to say all that because I'm going to play a video. And it's just a little video I put together with some pictures from each place that I'm going to. And then if you have any questions, you can ask me about anything, because that's what I'm here for. And I have translators that come with me, and the translators will translate Hindi into English. My Hindi it's all right. Every year it gets better. I'm not fluent, but I've put time and effort into studying. So, and I'm just there half the year. So a lot of the people that I'm with, they don't speak English. So you'll get a chance to meet real people. And a lot of, when I say real people, I mean like people from India, not just like people in a hotel that you're staying at. These are like people from all over India. And I mean all over. I mean places that you may never get to in your lifetime, but we're all going to come together during this time. Like Joe, Cactus Joe, he lives in the Bay Area of California. I don't know. I live all over. Now I live in Massachusetts part of the year. So here we are, two strangers, and then we meet in India. And, we've known each other ever since. And I met many people on that trip. Every trip I take, I meet so many people that I'm still friends with to this day. And that's just the love and the magic of traveling. So this is an inward journey in the outside world. So it's a real balance of both. And, India couldn't be any more different than America and Europe and kind of the Western world. So you get a real taste of what it's like in other countries. But the food is fabulous and the people are just so nice. And I just really look forward to having you there. So I'm gonna.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Welcome, Julian.
It's all the bedrooms.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I just muted her. Okay, so that's just a little bit about just the logistics and why I thought it would be really good to go to Bodh Gaya, then Varanasi, and then the Mahakumbh Mela, just to move into the energy of the Mahakumbh, because it can be overwhelming, I guess, to some people because it's so many people, but it's just people in their best, like in their love, in their purity, and in their devotion. So it's really amazing. And yeah. And so, but it's also a really powerful time. And so we'll go into the water at a very specific time of day. Like I said, you have to be very flexible in India. You can't be rigid because Mother India has her own timing. So I'll just give you a little story. Last time I was at the Kumbh Mela in Prayagraj, it was the Ard Kumbh, the half Kumbh. And I told you I had some people there with me. They were staying at the camp with Guruji. And, you know, when you're at the Mela, you just follow what the Guru is doing, right? It's his camp. We do what we follow him. And so he's like, okay, let's go. So we go. Now I've done it. So now at this particular Kumbh Mela with him. So now I've done it. So I have some knowledge. I was at another Kumbh Mela with him. So that night we all left the camp and we went to this spot. And then I just thought we were having a tea break, but we were there for like 8 hours until the morning. I didn't know. It was so funny. So some people, I finally went to sleep. Like people were just sleeping. The sadhus kind of were up all night. Some were sleeping. We drank tea. We'd already eaten dinner. And then at dawn, we drank our morning tea and then we left and we go to this other spot. And at this other spot, we're there for another couple of hours. So it was like some waiting. But let me tell you, it paid off because the next day I'm used to being with all the sadhus. So that was not a thing for me. But we were like with all the sadhus. So that takes me into this part of the story about the Mahakumbh Mela. So I told you, like, the sadhus, which are the holy men, the priests, like the monks and nuns, basically, the renunciates, the ones who don't live in the world. So they have these things called akaras there, which are like ashrams, they're families. I'm a Bharti and a Giri, but Jwalabharti, so I belong to the Naranjani Akara. And then there's other akaras. So they have like their home akara. Ours is in Haridwar. And so we were like where they were all meeting. And all of a sudden I see Guruji and he starts climbing way up this pole. I'm like, there are thousands of sadhus here. Why is my guru climbing all the way to the top of this pole? And I was like, it was so high. I was like nervous. And so we're just watching like it was like everybody was watching, all the sadhus, everything was watching. They put up a flag. And then there's like this, so we were part of the ceremony. So what I didn't know was that there was a ceremony going on right there. And then we move again. And I mean, it filled in. There was so many people. But, you know, it's not a big deal. So then we go to this other spot and they put me and these people I'm with on a moving vehicle. We didn't walk. So I'm with like this 100-year-old sadhu and like a lot of the older sadhus, my guru's guru. And it was amazing. So we're like driving now. And then I'll tell you one more thing. So then we get off, as soon as we get off the car though, oh my gosh, I still to this day, it's like the magic of India. Then we end up just walking. So I start walking with everybody. And the next thing I know, I'm in the procession with all the sadhus. So that'll take me to this part of the Mahakumbh. So each akara, so I have jatas. I got these were gifted to me. It's my natural hair at the Ard Kumbh, at the half Kumbh in Prayagraj. So these are called jatas. And you see sadhus, they have long jatas, right? Some of them are short while they're growing them out. But they go in the water first before anyone else. And they go in the water and then they're famous for flipping their head up and their jatas going like this. And the story is that they're purifying the water for all the devotees to come in because people have been in the water, I mean, since the last Kumbh Mela. So me and all my people, we end up in the sadhu's procession, sadhu and sadhvis. So sadhus is the male, sadhvis the females. And so all of a sudden I notice like everyone else is around us watching, and we're walking like a river. And there was so much energy. It was amazing. And then I realize I'm in the front of the procession. So luckily, this is the gift, the grace of God. I have people with me that I need to protect and take care of. So, but I know like the sadhus, I'm a bharti, so there's love there, there's family, there's never an issue, and the whole millions of people are on the sides standing and they're watching the sadhus and sadhvis go. Us. So I see ahead of me that there is posts with sandbags. And I've been to the Sangam. It's called the Sangam, the Triveni Sangam, Tree 3 Sangam, where the rivers meet. And I immediately make a plan. So because I know what's going to happen when we get there, I put everybody on the sandbags, and then I change into my appropriate clothes. And then one of the devotees grabs me by the wrist and he pulls me. I mean, he wouldn't let go. And he pulls me into the water. Well, he pulls me to the front of the line. Then I got to be in the ceremony. And then I went into the water, and I just got my jatas. And in the actual Sangam where the two rivers meet, I did my bath. And it was incredible. It was a big story. I have 2 of those pictures on I didn't take the pictures, obviously. Somehow somebody sent me these pictures on WhatsApp, and I put them on my Instagram feed because that's kind of how I know how my life is. It's like, oh, I was doing that, because sometimes, you can't keep it straight. But anyway, so there's this magic that's happening because everybody's love is it's like powered by pure love and devotion for enlightenment, for seeing through the veils, for cleansing of the karma, of like purifying your negative deeds. Everything in the outer world is coming from our inner world. So this is a real place where those two meet. It's incredibly powerful. So it's special, right? Because this only happens, the big one only happens every 12 years. And this is the biggest one because it's where the Ganges and the Yamuna and the Saraswati meet. So I hope this made sense to you, and it's incredible. And I recommend it to anybody who feels drawn to coming. I wouldn't put it off. You can get in touch with me about specifics because we need to have a one-on-one anyway before, you can't just hit the buy now button. It's not a thing. But yes, so India is wonderful and it's magical, and I can generally make anything happen. So I'm not worried, but I do want to say one thing about the food and the bathrooms and the showers. It's India. So they do have showers and they do have bathrooms, but the women shower with the women and the men shower with the men. And it's, it's a trough and your buckets because it's the Kumbh Mela. It's like, if you want to pay $200 a night and have a 5-star tent, that's fine. If you want to come on my tour and you want that, I can possibly arrange it for you. But that's not what I'm really promoting here. It's really for us to come together. We're doing stuff during the day. It's actually quite relaxing, even though there's millions of people around. It's not like it's actually very relaxing because the energy is very relaxing because people are there for such devotional reasons. So that the energy in the field is very. It's not like every day. It's not like here. It's very different. So we have showers. So there's water. It might be different this year, but it's always different. But anyway, you're gonna have shower with a bucket. It's fine. No hot water. If you need hot water, I can get that for you. Like I said, there's nothing I can't make happen for the most part. If I can't make it happen, there's a real reason why. Because I can have them heat up a bucket of warm water and you can take that. No big deal. For food, we have dinner. Like there's a timing for dinner. And the way that we eat in India during a mela or even in family houses is there's runners, basically runners, material. And you sit there. If you need a chair, no big deal. Well, there's chairs. But if you don't need a chair, we just sit down. They literally call it Indian style, like you're in asana, like whatever, legs crossed. And then they come around and they give you plates, and then they give you cups, and then we eat with our hands. So if you need silverware, you should bring it. And then we eat. And they come around with buckets. It's fresh food. It's vegetarian, super clean. And then we wash our plates and put them. So we wash our own plates. So it's family style, and there's just a window of time you can eat. If it's full, they'll just tell us when it's dinner time. It's the same, pretty much the same every day. And then we eat. And it's delicious. Sometimes it's a little spicy. So to counter the spicy, we do sweet and milky. So I'll try to keep some healthy sweet, like jaggery and yogurt, because just for those who have a sensitive stomach. There is a chance that I could have them make, it's hard though because there's so many people that they're feeding every single day, khichdi, which is very mellow on the stomach. But we'll see. That's always a thing too. Like last year, I mean, I don't even remember it being spicy, so it wasn't even an issue. It's usually the smaller festivals with oh god, it's so spicy. But anyway, so this is the journey that I've put together for this. As you can see, it's like a introduction to, even if you've been to India before, it's just like a real pilgrimage. So we're taking the journey inward. We're doing movement with our body. We're opening the channels for the experience that we're going to have at the Kumbh Mela. Okay. And my very dear friend and brother, and the person who changed my life, like in an astronomical way, his name is Christian Nikolai, and he'll be there also. He has a camp going, hopefully. And so we can go visit with him. And so there's so many things to do there. You never know. I can't say, oh, we're going to do this, and this. Sometimes we go visit like a guru, and then a lot of gurus come to our camp. So you'll see, because they're coming. And then there's one big tent where the main guru is sitting. And you can sit in there. It's really nice. And then we'll do bhajan, singing. Sometimes you call it, it's not really kirtan like we have here in the States. It's not like call and response. It's like just chanting. And you get it, you'll understand it. And it's fun because it's all devotional, right? This is a yoga. It's yoga. It's a pilgrimage. All right. So now I'm going to share with you my little video presentation. And does anybody have any questions so far? journey begins when you say yes. Yes to an experience that will change you, usually for the better. Just showing up and giving yourself the shift, inner and outer. This particular journey is quite different. It is a pilgrimage, and a pilgrimage is meant to change you, fundamentally from the inside out. A pilgrimage is a ritual journey with a hallowed purpose. It is a transformational journey where new insights are given, deeper understanding is attained, and new and old places in the heart are visited. Blessings are received and healing takes place. And upon your return, life is seen with different eyes. Nothing will ever be quite the same again. On this journey, we will visit the place Siddhartha Gautama attained his enlightenment and where he taught for the very first time. We will travel to Varanasi, the oldest inhabited city on the planet, then make our way to Prayagraj for the Maha Kumbh Mela that happens every 12 years. This journey will be so many things, but boring is not one of them. Buckle up and say yes to having an adventure of a lifetime. Another aspect to saying yes to this pilgrimage is that I am offering all the proceeds after costs to the Bridge Project, which takes care of 9 orphanages in Nepal. After children turn 18, they are not allowed to stay in the only home most of them have ever known. And I am helping, along with Clint Rogers, the Ancient Secrets Foundation, and so many others, to prepare these kids for life in the world. Saying yes will have ripple effects long past your personal journey. Thank you, and I hope to see you in India. Namaste. I'm going to put that up on my YouTube channel so you can watch it. I just found some pictures, and actually, yeah, it got overwhelming because there's so many. But just to give you an idea what it's like in India, if you've never been. If you've been, then you know. It's wildly chaotic and beautifully peaceful. There's things in India that are not like here, where the waste management systems, but at the same time, we hide our garbage, but where is it going, right? Theirs is out in the open. They're just now they sweep and then the garbage man comes, but there's nowhere to take it. They pile it up and pile it up. But so you'll see things like that. And of course you see extreme poverty, but just because people are poor doesn't mean they're unhappy. I mean, the sad stories are like the deep cultural ones, where they ostracize women whose husbands have died, or the mother-in-law is really mean to the daughter-in-law. You know, there's those kind of things that you learn when you're really deep in a culture. But for the most part, you know, the people are lovely and they're beautiful. The culture is so deep and spiritual. So for me, it was like, it's the reason I like it there is because I just feel like myself there. You know, the outside matches the inside, not 100%. Like being in nature, definitely 100%. But, you know, but for like everyday life, it's really interesting. Yeah. So I'll put the video up on my YouTube channel, and then there's going to be a recording of this. So I will give you the recording. But Julian came late, but I was just explaining why I was choosing to do the pilgrimage. It's an inner journey. And if you're going to go to India, it's nice to start soft. And the Buddhists are very soft. And I like to go to pilgrimage places. You know, they're very charged with really a lot of frequency and vibration. So if you're there for, you know, that deeper inner connection to self, those are the places you want to go. If somebody's watching this and they want to do other things like bicycle through tea plantations or climb mountains in the Himalayas, hey, I've done that too. So I can, you know, share that information and help you get on that trip. But this trip is definitely that inward journey. That's my thing, is taking people on spiritual pilgrimages to India, Nepal, and Tibet. And it transcends time, space, dimension, really cultures too. And yeah, there's dress codes in India. It's unwritten, but I make sure all my clients that we, you know, make sure we all have the right clothes to feel, you know, because they appreciate when we wear their clothes. It's not cultural appropriation. That's just an idea. And it doesn't matter when you go. This whole presentation, the only thing that would change would be like the Kumbh Mela, because it's like only happens every 12 and 6 years. But yeah, to do, you know, to dress appropriately is not appropriation. It's appropriate. And it's awesome because it's comfortable. Their clothes are beautiful. That's why the women all look so beautiful. Yeah. And then the food, you know, the Hindus are most, I wouldn't say all vegetarians, but it's very easy to be a vegetarian. But if you don't want to be a vegetarian, that's fine too. There's not at the Kumbh Mela, but outside of that, there's plenty of options for, in some places. Actually, in some places, there is no options. And a lot of places are dry, like no alcohol. So I have had that situation before where I had to make sure, I mean, obviously you can get alcohol anywhere, but yeah, but you can get anything in India. It's great. There's so much freedom. I always say that they micromanage the opposite things that we micromanage. So like, we micromanage how you drive on the streets, and like, well, I guess maybe not anymore, but a little bit. And we micromanage like, you know, everyday life here. Well, they micromanage like their families and like the culture and like, I guess church and that kind of stuff. Similar, but they don't pay much attention to each other in their business, except when they are in your business. But you can ask anybody anything over there. A lot of people speak English, not in the rural areas where I tend to spend a lot of time. There's always somebody who speaks English, but yeah, so it's awesome. So if anybody has any questions, if Julian, you have any questions, I can't. Yeah.
Julianne said
yeah.
it looks very fulfilling. She looks forward to the recording, and she loves that it's a spiritual pilgrimage. She's going to connect with you more about the cost and the arrangements of the plane fare from the States. I guess she wants some more input.
Yeah. Okay.
And she said it's very special timing. And that was it.
Yeah. So it's better to call me, and we'll during our one-on-one. I don't want to put out pricing on this. Like, let's just talk about it. I'm doing a sliding scale because it's a fundraiser for the kids. So just give me a call. We'll set up a meeting and we'll just talk about it. I'll explain everything to you. I can talk to you about plane prices from where you live. I fly all the time. I can tell you about almost anything having to do with travel. So, and visas, that's another thing. Visas, you have to get ahead of time, but they do e-visas now. So I did an e-visa and it took less than 24 hours and it was very inexpensive and it was for 5 years. So I'll walk you through but it depends on what country you're from. So, but most countries, India has a good relationship with, so it shouldn't be a big deal. You do need a visa. I can talk to you in our one-on-one about any kind of travel flights. Now, it's coming up soon, so you can't sleep on this because that's why I can't give definite costs yet either, because I don't know how we're going to get to places. It's kind of far to go from Delhi to Bodh Gaya, so we really need to fly. That flight should be okay because people are going to the Mela. They're not going to Bodh Gaya. And then we'll take the train or a vehicle to Varanasi and then a vehicle to the Kumbh Mela. So that should be fine. But yes, I really hope that you want to come because I want to be with you in India, really. I just love sharing this with everybody and nobody has regretted it and everybody wants to go back. So yes. So if you have any questions and you want to book your one-on-one with me just to talk about it, there's no obligations or anything. It's just how I run these because they're deep. I'm not into fast food or fast anything. It has to be a yes, a good hearty yes in your soul calling. And yeah, because there isn't another Kumbh Mela at Prayagraj for another 6 years for the half Kumbh and then another 12 years for the main Kumbh. So this is all astrological. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. Namaste.
I forgot to mention that the deadline for signing up for this life-changing spiritual pilgrimage to India is December 21st. All the proceeds after cost are being matched by Hewlett-Packard and need to be received on our end by December 21st. So whatever you're paying for this trip, the proceeds going to the kids is doubled by HP. And also, if you're not interested in coming on the trip but want to support these amazing humans, you are more than welcome to. So you can reach out to me personally for that as well. Whatever your decision, I really, really hope that you are doing well in your life. And if you want to come, I look forward to seeing you in India in 2025. And either way, if you want to help the kids, reach out to me. Thank you so much. Namaste.